A clever, mind-bending, twisty-turny, timey-wimey yarn. Lake Artifact follows a group of 20-somethings heading for a weekend retreat at, you guessed it, a cabin in the woods. Yeah, I know. On the way there, they meet a mysterious drifter and decide to invite him along for the ride as well. Upon arriving, everything goes pretty good. It seems like it's gonna be a pretty good weekend. Until everybody wakes up the next morning and things start to get a little strange. Some pictures that no one remembers being taken are found. Some weird characters doing weird things show up. Some people go missing, and time seems to be a little odd. So overall, everything just gets really weird. Through all of this, there's documentary footage of some of the locals being interviewed that's periodically intercut within the film. This is mostly to give us some background of the area and more specifically the cabin that they're staying at, and to leave us some breadcrumbs as to why all these weird occurrences are going on. This part of the movie where they're intersplicing this footage, I actually did like. It really helped with the mystery of everything that's going on and got your gears turning trying to figure out what actually is going on to these characters. While not wholly original, it was a neat way to piecemeal parts of the story and the history of this area to us, the viewers. And you get the feeling the whole time that it is leading somewhere. Unfortunately, it's really not. I mean, it does lead somewhere, but where it leads really makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I really wanted to like this movie. This is my kind of movie. A small, contained, clever story where you're consistently trying to figure out what's going on. And it does provide that. It has a pretty cool setup, and you are intrigued and wondering and trying to figure out the whole time what's actually going on here. But the payoff they give you just really isn't much of a payoff. You can tell that the filmmakers thought that it was a payoff, and you can also tell that they thought that they had a clever, mind-bending yarn. But no, they don't. The setup to everything is interesting. You are invested and you want to know what's going on. But unfortunately, the movie consistently breaks its own rules. Through learning about what's going on, there are rules within this world that are set up. And they could have had fun with those rules. And you can tell that the filmmakers spent a lot of time with the story setting all that up. But when it got time to execute and give us a satisfying ending, I don't think that they knew what to do to get themselves there. So in order to do what they thought would be satisfying, they had to break a lot of their rules, and it really just made everything fall apart. I mean, if you get to thinking about it really at all, the ending of this movie just makes no sense. And there's even a reveal, like at the very end of the movie, that just kind of falls flat. The question, or actually the thing that this person in the reveal wants and asks, just makes no sense and doesn't go along with any of the story. Also, how they got there doesn't really make a lot of sense either. Case in point, there's a part in this movie where a new character shows up. Now, nobody knows who this character is, and he's kind of creeping about and everybody's freaked out by him. So they take him and they tie him up in the garage. Now, some other shit happens, but ultimately we find out who this character is a little later in the movie. And it's supposed to be like this big reveal, like, oh my god, it's who? But it just makes like no fucking sense whatsoever why this person is that way. Now, if you've seen the movie, you might say, oh yeah, it does because, you know, time's kind of weird. But no, it doesn't, because the period of time that they state in the movie just makes no sense concerning this character. I know I'm being a little vague because I don't want to spoil anything, like you're really gonna watch this fucking movie anyway, but I don't want to spoil anything. But just believe me when I say that there are rules set up within this world that are constantly just shit on so that they can move the story forward in a way that they think is clever. But like I said a minute ago, no, it's just not. Now, while the setup and the idea behind this story is kind of neat, how we get there is borderline fucking boring. Like, the first 20 minutes of this movie is so drawn out with trying to introduce you to these characters, it's mind-numbing at times. A lot of the stuff that they introduce in this first 20 minutes makes no fucks whatsoever to the story or these characters. I'm all about character building. I mean, a story that has characters that have not been built whatsoever just falls the fuck apart. But when you have character building that adds absolutely nothing to the stories or the characters in it, it's not character building anymore, it's just boring fucking parts of the movie. I don't know if they were just trying to go the extra mile in building these characters or they were trying to pad their runtime. Whichever it is, it's fucking boring. The performances overall are, they're okay. I can't say any of them are bad, but I can't really say any of them are great either. They're just kind of okay. The vast majority of the characters are pretty boring and bland, and they're pretty much for one reason and one reason only. The characters of Tommy and Thomas are really the only ones that have anything interesting going on. And when I say interesting, I mean just a little bit more interesting than all the other boring vanilla characters in the movie. One thing that the movie does do right, though I don't know if it was intentional, is that it does kind of fool you into who the main character is. In the first part of the movie, you feel like the main character is this one character that you're following around. But about halfway through, things shift and the main character becomes someone else. I mean, I wasn't expecting that, so it was kind of neat, but I don't really know if it was purposeful or they just ran out of shit for this character to do, so they said, hey, let's start focusing on this one. But purposeful or not, it was surprising, so hey, I'll give them that. The tone in this movie is also kind of off. Like, they couldn't decide what they wanted the tone to be. Sometimes it's kind of a horror thriller, other times it's kind of a sci-fi, other times it's kind of a comedy. The horror and sci-fi elements kind of meld together, those I'm cool with, but the comedic elements are so erratic and all over the place that when they happen, they seem really out of place. It's almost kind of like they wanted to be kind of a comedy, thriller, horror thing, but they didn't want to fully commit to it. Overall, I was really disappointed with Lake Artifact, which sucks because when I first heard about it, I thought this was going to be one of those cool little movies that goes under the radar that had a really clever story that I was going to want to recommend to everybody out there. But no, it's nothing like that at all. Unfortunately, the movie really doesn't offer much of anything. It can't make up its mind of what it is. It has a pretty lackluster payoff, and at times, it's just fucking boring. I was really hoping to be able to recommend this one, but I just can't. If you just got like a total hard-on to see this movie, at best, check it out in the middle of the night on USA Up All Night. I mean, this movie's not teetotal butt trash, but it's not far from it. So if you do see this movie based on this review, just remember what I said. USA Up All Night. That's the best it's got. So there it is, guys, my review of Lake Artifact. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a thumbs up. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.
A peaceful society.
Really?
If you want to see a movie that is very clever and has a very mind-bending story, check out the absolutely amazing The Endless. I did a review a year or so back on my channel, and if you want a movie that truly is clever and mind-bending, check out The Endless. It's fucking amazing. Better than this shit, that's for sure.